Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the TGN Pro Series, and we're heading in now to round number 3. Huge apologies for the minor delays that we had. I'm also going to have to just quickly pop you guys off the screen to quickly update something that we have. I missed just now. Apologies about that. We had a couple of technical difficulties that were being thrown into the works, and were not allowing for us to go live with this race sooner, so I do apologize about that. But we are officially here, ready to go racing for round number 3. We are at the prestigious Donnington Park. What a great circuit to go racing at with the BTCC cars. A fantastic combination, and quite frankly, if you have to ask me, the kind of birthplace of BTCC racing. Obviously, most of our circuits are going to be in the British Concord of tracks. And so that's kind of where we are racing yet again today. Donnington Park, right in the peak of the UK, and a great track for all things racing, especially with the BTCC cars. My name is Tristan Herbst, and joining myself in the commentary box is nobody tonight. I'm completely alone, but like we always are for the TGN Pro Series, trying to avoid and ignore the skybox issues that are currently happening on the map. Nothing we can do about it at this point, but you might see a couple of weird artifacting or elements going on towards the top side of the screen. We are here for the racing, not for the map, so just try and ignore that, and we will continue pushing on strong throughout today's events. In terms of qualifying, though, 4.5 or so minutes left to go. Daniel Kent is your fastest driver, pairing his time up there with Michael the Cock, and as I say, that session governor actually does get faster with a 32.8, so good to see him. It's currently clocking those times up on the board. For the rest of our drivers, though, looking good on the timing tower on the left-hand side of your screen. That will be your primary information board as to where our drivers are currently out on circuit. Let's have a look at what our point standings are looking like coming out of round number 2. Unfortunately, if you're on TikTok, you won't be able to see these point standings. Again, TikTok doesn't allow us to stream with a custom encoder, and so you cannot see some of the premium overlays you will experience over on Twitch and YouTube. Apologies about that. In any case, standings after round number 2, it is Derek Truscott up at the top, still holding it with 81 points. Kyle Williams will trail just behind him. Currently 73 points to his name. Kitsamojia has worked his way up into 3rd and 69 points to his name. Daniel Kent has made a long jump up to 4th with 66 points to his name. JP Goslet stays 5th with 65. And then Michael de Kock currently 61 points in the top 6. Omar Khan in 7th now. And then Aratile Motsogosele also holding 8th position with 51 points. Jared Leask is into the top 10. With 44 points, and then Jeskia has been bumped down to 10th place with 43 points. Unfortunately, Tamsankwa Konki has lost out on the top 10 after the previous round's events, and he will have to work quite hard to get back into the top 10. Very, very competitive competition out here at the TGN Pro Series, and we've been seeing it all across the past couple of weeks as we head into round number 3 of the second season of 2026. Great to see that it is going on strong, and we continue to see the racing action happening live here. Remember that the racing that happens here at the TGN Pro Series is all actually done in person. And apologies, I'm just quickly trying to find some overlay quickly for us, just so I can have some things in front of me. So give me 1 second, and just trying to see race 3. I'm not too sure if this is going to give it to us. No, it's not. So I'm actually not too sure where to see the live timing of the service. We'll have a look quickly, just trying to find the live timing. And currently I cannot find it. But anyways, that's okay. We will try and squeeze that in for the next race. Which now we'll have a look to see if we can get that incorporated coming in. But to have a look at what our penalties are looking like coming in to the next round, which we'll go through shortly. For the time being, 2 or so minutes left of our qualifying. And Session Governor is actually still undisputed at the top, with Kitsamojia and Daniel Kent parking it right behind him. Currently are watching Omar Khan. He's unfortunately a 10th.5 slower, and will try and find his way around the circuit. Nico Kuntal, JP Goslet, they need to put in a couple better lap times. Currently down 17th and 18th position, so need to try and find their way to get themselves further up on the board. Riaz Barber's also up in 11th. Chad Bull currently holding 10th. Derek Truscott, the championship leader, is down 9th at the moment, and he's only done 4 laps. Only a minute and a half left to go, though, of qualifying before we get going. And there we do indeed now have our live timings up. Lovely to see the board. And let's have a look at your penalties coming out of round number 2. Unfortunately, a couple drivers getting a couple of red hand smacks. And so Chad Bell will be twice appearing on this board for race number 2, 15-second penalty that he was presented with. Michael de Kock then in race 3 got himself a 10-second penalty. Then in race 3, Chad Bell is going to reappear. That is a 30-second time penalty as well as a grid penalty coming into this race. So no matter where he qualifies here, he's unfortunately going to drop down, and so that will affect him coming into round number 3. Morgan Goodwin, who is unfortunately not here tonight, did get himself a 10-second time penalty from the previous round. But those time penalties apply to the end of the previous round results. So the only one that's going to actually be applying here tonight is Chad Bell's penalty, the grid penalty that's going to be applying after qualifying, that he's going to have to try and manage out on circuit. It's great to be back, though, with all of you. I do see we've got a couple of watchers in the YouTube virtual grandstand, a couple as well in the TikTok. I saw somebody said, yo, a couple earlier, V8 drives me crazy. It drives us crazy too, man. V8s are splendid vehicles. Lovely to see you there in our chat room for TikTok and the rest of our streaming platforms. Unfortunately, no streamer on Facebook tonight, but that's all good. We've still got 3 streaming platforms for you to watch all the action here at the TGN Pro Series. Only 5 seconds left of qualifying, and then we'll officially be done with qualifying. Doesn't have a hard cap like you would see in traditional sim racing qualifying, where as soon as it hits the time, the session gets closed. There is an overtime, so the drivers have a little bit of time to continue their current lap. Derek Truscott is currently on said lap, and he's trying to set a bit of a faster time to see what he can do. And let's see what Derek Truscott can manage on that current lap time that he's busy with. We'll hope to see if he can maybe improve. And no, he's into the pit lane. He will go. Daniel Kent currently out on the field, but he's already passed the checkered flag line a couple moments back, so he will not be going for another lap. The only people going for a lap right now, Chad Bell will be going for a lap at the moment, down in 10th position. He's going to be running up towards the checkered flag line, seeing if he can possibly improve. And then just behind him, Riaz Baba is also trying to make his way across the checkered flag line. Will it be an improvement for either of them? Tamsankwa Konki does stay in 10th, unfortunately, and then it looks like Rez Baba will be staying in 11th as well. So a couple more drivers have made their way onto their final flying laps. Kyle Williams is onto his flying lap, so he's fortunately just made it. As we're just quickly checking something here again. There we go. We're all good to go there still. And so let's see if Kyle Williams can improve. And unfortunately he cannot, and the session is going to pull him to a hard stop there. So eventually the session does cut off, and that has officially happened now. So about 5 or so minutes until our race starts. We'll be back with you shortly as we just prepare a couple of things that we could not get prepared in time just before the race, but making sure that all the action comes to you live here at the TGN Racing Simulators live stream here on YouTube every second Thursday night for the Pro Series, as we count down now to heat number 1. It's going to be great. Don't go anywhere far, and we'll be back shortly.
Que Dios te lo ha dado, niña.
It's finally time for our drivers to take to the grid, and as you can see, everybody is lined up, warmed up, and ready to go. They've had their half-an-hour practice that ran from 7 o'clock to 7:30, and then qualifying that ran now from 7:30 just to the dawn of 8 o'clock after a couple of delays that set us back. But officially 15 seconds to our race countdown. JP Goslet did manage to set the fastest time. Derek Truscott in second and Kitsumagia in third position. The countdown is officially on as we try and find a good track camera. Can't seem to find one. There we officially do. And now we get a nice run through up into Red Gate. It is officially lights out racing. JP Goslet against the likes of Derek Truscott and Kitsumagia. Ready putting the pressure behind is Derek Truscott. The two green Mambas behind of Kitsumagia. And Derek Truscott will be putting pressure on JP Goslet up in front in the white tie 30N. Let's see what they can do to hold it on. The rest of the drivers make it quite swiftly through Red Gate, the first corner here at Donnington Park, as we watch through the rest of the grid to see how our drivers are doing. Down in 18th, Nico Quintal will have to try and work hard. Ryan Gregoratos also down in 17th place. But Derek Truscott has been able to hold it up at the top. No, apologies. I mean, Derek Truscott got past. JP Goslet has unfortunately lost out on P1, and Derek Truscott will take over to lead this race. Kitsumagia still holds third, and Daniel Kent will follow just behind him in fourth position. Nice clean racing that we're seeing. I did hear someone just screaming, and someone is definitely off in the background there. I'm trying to find out who it is. And I believe it might be down in 17th. Oh, and someone almost goes off. And there's Jared Leask. He dropped off just now and just put a foot off on the grass. That's dropped him down severely. Omar Khan also having a bit of a squibble there. He's all the way down to 18th position now. So a couple of our drivers really not finding the start of the race that they needed here. JP Goslet will be trying to fight for his race lead back in the starting procedure of this race. They head up towards the Melbourne Hairpin and then into Goddard's to finish off the lap around here at Donnington Park. And again, what a great circuit it is here for some from BTCC Racing. Almost a GT3 from how I'm used to commentating on GT3s, but this is BTCC's close, action-packed racing here between all of our drivers. And in terms of how it's looking so far, a nicely packed up grid for the time being, because everybody has remained subtly consistent throughout the entirety of the first couple of laps. You can see the rest of the drivers in the background still busy peeling on there, and the rest also still trying to find. Jordan Huben down 13th position. He's up on the inside now of what looks to be Jared Leask and Riaz Barber, actually, so good little overtake there. Now chasing onto Tamsankwa Konki just a bit further up ahead, 3 places up. Geo Sakia will be holding 10th position. He is up 2 since the start of the race, and so that's a good move up there on the boards that he can try and work towards to further better himself at the start of this. Derek Truscott will start to feel the pressure now from JP Goslet, only 3/10 behind there. Daniel Kent has gotten ahead of Kitso Majias. Kitso seems to have made a mistake. He's all the way down to 7th now, and he's lost out to Session Governor Oratile, Motsogotsele, and Carl Williams collectively with Daniel Kent. So unfortunately a hard drop off there for Kitso Majia, and he's going to have to try work this one back up. Heading through Coppice, this is coming up to the legendary hairpin here of at Donnington Park of Fogarty S's. A great little place, and I enjoy this hairpin so much. It really does provide for a neat bit of action. I have seen a Porsche capsize there in GT3 racing before, so very interesting dilemmas that you fight there. Back down towards the Melbourne hairpin, and our BTCC Rangers here in the Pro Series will continue to find some track in the background there. Daniel Kent is fighting now with Carl Williams, who did slightly push the blue Corolla out the way slightly there. So Daniel Kent still trying to hold on. That's not the Corolla, apologies, the Cupra Leon for the Z5 driver. And Carl Williams will remain at bay, although he is looking at all the alternative lines here to try and get past. He is going to have to work a bit harder. Ryan Grigoratos does drop all the way to the backside of the grid here, unfortunately. He has lost a little bit of speed. And Tevin Paul, also holding 17th position, has gotten ahead of Ryan Grigoratos there. Omar Khan also moved up a couple of positions since his drop-off a little bit earlier on in this race. Back through Red Gate, the drivers go, and revolving around the circuit once more throughout this race. Session Governor currently holding 6th position. He's chasing onto a battle just up ahead of Kitso Majia and Michael de Kock. Chad Bell will also be there. Carl Williams still trying to catch up there to Daniel Kent, but quite a bit of a tough one. Daniel Kent incredibly fast, and if you weren't here for the TGN Endurance Series this past Sunday, and what an incredible race it was to watch. It was live with us, but also the commentators were out on the circuit, so that was a lot of fun for us. However, there was a breakout speed around the track of a 1:16 flat, and Daniel Kent was consistently setting underneath that, so it meant he got quite a couple of penalties, unfortunately, but that just proves the pace of Daniel Kent here in the Pro Series, and now he gets to abuse it. There's no drop-off at all, no cut-off round whatsoever, and so he gets to abuse the absolute raw speed of that Cupra Leon. And what a good pick as well, the Cupra Leon. A nice and balanced car out on the grid. The BTCCs are all roughly the same, but they all have their own quirks. It's the same format racing as how it goes with GT3 racing if you watch GT3s. All of them will perform roughly the same amount of lap times, the same lap times around about, because there is a balance of performance, but they all have their own interesting quirks and traits that will tend to blend with specific driver styles. So these are all front-wheel drive cars, so not too much of a difference. GT3, it obviously mixes it up a bit, obviously with some being, well, no, apologies, they're all rear-wheel drive. I'm talking about engine displacement. So these are all front engine placed cars, so sitting right up at the top front, and that obviously causes a bit of understeer. But in GT3 racing, it comes into the play with mid-engines, rear engines, and front-engine cars. So we'll have to see how it goes for the BTCC cars here. All looking the same. Oratile Motsogotsele, he's got quite a lot of pressure up in front. Session Governor is looking to keep his place here, but Oratile is putting pressure up on the front. And now joining in the fray of things is going to be JP Goslet, dropping down from first all the way down to 6th position here. This is a massive fallout for the Cape Townian driver, and he needs to try and find some kind of balance, or else he's going to be overtaken by the race. Kitso Majia is also right on the backside of him here now. So good little bit of action coming in between 6th and 8th position. Chad Bell will also look to try and find his way. Quite a tired man out on the board there. I heard he only arrived back in South Africa this morning, and so he is trying to find the energy to fight it out here at Donnington Park. Back into the Hogarty S's they will go, and into the Melbourne Hairpin, seeing if they can control themselves. Derek Truscott keeps his way in P1, but Daniel Kent has now gotten into 2nd place, and seeing what he can do to hold on strong there. Carl Williams is also up into 3rd. Session Governor doing an incredible job to hold 4th at the moment, and seeing if he can potentially score some boards there, some points on the board there for Team Johannesburg. Oratile has also managed to climb up the board quite a lot. JP Goslet, though, unfortunately, quite a big of a drop-off here from qualifying up in P1 to dropping off all the way. We do have mandatory pit stops, and the first into the pit stops is going to be Oratile Motsogotsele. He jumps into the pit lane, and so does a couple others. It looks like, no, so apologies, that's somebody else who's already in the pit stop. So Oratile, we do know him to jump in early, and he's done it again. So quite a recurring thing we get to see there with Oratile, and trying to go for the undercut strategy against the rest of the grid. Up in front, though, things are looking all the same, but it's good to see that the pack is so neatly, closely knit together. It means that the racing action is going to continue to provide for the last 13 minutes. We are approaching the midpoint of heat number 1, and this is when we roughly will see the pit stop strategies coming in. I see we've got a couple of people in our virtual grandstand. JT Hubin, that is Jordan Hubin, who's currently out on the track at the moment, holding off 12. He says good luck to everybody in the virtual grandstand. And then Heidi Vermeulen, come on JP, get there my son. And then also for Michael de Kock, who's currently holding out in 7. So JP and Michael, you got some pressure because you got some supporters in the YouTube virtual grandstand that you've got to try and hold the expectation to. So let's hope that they can do that for the remainder of this race. Oh, and as I'm talking about it, Michael de Kock makes an error at the Fogarty S's and goes straight on, almost cutting up towards Goddard's. Unfortunately, there's barriers there, and you cannot do that. So he continues back down to the Melbourne Hairpin. JP Goslet is doing quite all right. He's made up one spot there with the driver there of Michael de Kock dropping off slightly, so he's gained one spot. Jeff Sakira in the background, currently in 8th position. He's trying to hold on from Jared Lees. Jared Lees made a bit of an error earlier on in this race, and that's dropped him further down to 9th position. Michael de Kock seeing what he can do. Then Jordan Hubin currently down 12th. 13th for Nico Quintal. 35 flat for his last lap time, and trying to hold on in the background there. Unfortunately for Aratile, he's all the way down in 18th position after the early pit stop. Ryan Gregoratos will slowly be eaten up alive by Aratile behind. And Artile is already pitted, so that's definitely not looking too good there for Ryan Gregoratos. A couple more into the pits. It's Michael de Kock, Session Governor, and Carl Williams. They've all jumped into the pit lane and will come out roughly just behind Ryan Gregoratos there. And so now a little bit of pressure that Ryan's got to fight for with Carl Williams being alongside. Carl, an incredibly aggressive driver, and manages to get past there without any kind of hesitation. So the rest of the drivers will continue pulling in the lap times here. It looks like just from not talking about it and not focusing, our skybox issue that we're having has completely subsidized itself. And we no longer have weird entities floating in the sky, which is great to see. We can continue the racing without further distraction here. Lovely for the drivers, not only the drivers, but also all of you watching out from home. Remember that if you do want to get involved in the world of the TGN family and the TGN racing simulators, we do have 3 centers across the country here in South Africa. 1 in Durban, 1 in Johannesburg, and 1 in Cape Town. In Sonique Mall for Cape Town, in Kanubi Mall for Durban, and then in Canera Office Park here in Randburg in Johannesburg, the headquarters for TGN, and where we get to see all the action between all the 3 TGN racing centers here for the Pro Series. All the drivers cannot drive from home. They have to drive here, and that's what you can see in the bottom left-hand side. That is the camera currently from the TGN Pro Series Center. Apologies, the TGN Johannesburg Simulator Center, and that's the one on the bottom left-hand side. In terms of getting involved with TGN, as we can see Chad Bell now trying to get past Jer Sakia. This is for 3rd place, but obviously it will change up once the pit stops happen, because Jared Leesk is in, Daniel Kent is in, JP Gosler, Jordan Hubin. A couple of our drivers have now come into the pit lane and have decided to jump in. But in terms of getting involved, Mondays and Tuesday, well, TGN is open all week. And a great place to come if you want to just hop on a rig, potentially look at buying a new rig. It's a great hobby to get into. And if you have ever been looking at it from the outside and wanting to potentially get involved, but damn, that price is high, well, TGN is the greatest place to possibly attend to get involved in the hobby with their very, very cheap fares to get involved with a 1-hour session on either 3 of their platform types. Obviously, the price will scale the more complex you go, all the way up to a full motion rig that you can even take out for an hour, which is incredible. Monday and Tuesday nights, though, nothing happening in the world of TGN. All of the staff get to rest. Wednesday night is Wednesday night racing, though, a great series that happens between any driver who may want to participate for 200 Rand for a session, and that is a heap load of fun. I've got to tell you, every single time I've been able to attend a Wednesday night racing, it is unknown, completely unknown, and incredibly exhilarating, because it is an unknown track, an unknown car, and unknown opponents, which is the best part. TGN Pro Series, same car, different track, obviously, but there's a set schedule, and the drivers know who they're facing, so a little bit more structure. The Wednesday night racing is nice and random. Thursday, then every week, every Thursday, rotating or alternating is your TGN Pro and your TGN Rookie Series. So those are the 2 that roll out on Thursday nights. Currently, you're live watching the TGN Pro Series, and the next Thursday is the TGN Rookie Series. So that is great stuff to see on the life of TGN there. Friday is going to be a half-price Friday, so every simulator 1-hour session is going to be half the price. So that is also a great way to get involved for just half, 50% of the total price amount. And then Saturday is your Saturday Super Series. In the afternoon and evening, your GT3s and your V8 supercars. Great way to get involved as well if you are interested in those two major type of car racings here on Assetto Corsa and also in real life. All of the events around the world that happen for GT3s and V8 supercars. Sunday is going to be your TGN Endurance Series that happens on the first Sunday of every single month, as well as the TGN F1 Sundays to get involved with some open wheeler racing action. So that happens on a Sunday, and that's all that revolves around the week here in the life of TGN. A great place to get involved with all things with the steering wheel and pedals, and hopefully soon some flight-related stuff, which I was having a chat with Ethan about. Maybe in the future, some flight rigs. They've already got some yoke systems that they're looking to incorporate. So if you're also a flight fanatics, maybe some Microsoft Flight Sim or some other kind of space sims or flight sims, definitely get your way down to TGN Racing Simulators. It's not all about racing, it's all about simulators. Now, looking back at the race, though, 7 minutes left to go. Kitso Magia does currently hold the top spots, but he is the last to jump into the pit lane. So is Nico Quintal, Omar Khan, Tevin Paul. They all still need to jump in. Derek Truscott is technically your provisional race leader right now. Daniel Kent has lost out on the pit stops. And so let's see what Derek Truscott can do. He is currently the championship leader, as we looked at during qualifying. So he is hungry for those points. It is points across all three heats. So you want to make sure that you get all three heats in. JP Goslet sets the fastest lap time, though, down in 6th position. So he's really showing now why he was able to qualify in P1, but just unfortunately dropping off at the start. And that has obviously changed things up a little bit for him. Trying to continue his race down in 6th position. Session Gamada just a bit further down in 7th as well. He's got Aratilia Motogotsele just behind, trying to see what he can do in the Honda Civic, the only Honda driver out on the field. Omar Khan still holding 2nd place. In terms of on-track battles, we can see that the gap is quite close between a couple of our drivers. In particular, Jared Leask is just about to get overtaken here by Gio Sakia as they are going side by side through the Craner Curves and Old Hairpin, now coming up to Starkey's Bridge. And actually up to Coppice now. They're already past McLeans. And up to Coppice they will go, still side by side between Jared Leask and Gio Sakia. This is going to go all the way down the Starkey Straight and up towards the Fogarty S's. Who is going to have this one? Into the Fogarty S's they will go. And it looks like Gio Sakia is going to have the inside line here, but he's going to have to pull out there. Jared Leask does go slightly off track, and that is going to ruin his line here, coming up towards the Melbourne Hairpin. But a good little bit of action that we've gotten to see between the two of them. Lovely racing etiquette seen by the two as well. The battle for what looks to be, if I can read my rows correctly, that is Derek Truscott, and he's got pressure from behind. Just behind there is Daniel Kent. You can see him slowly but surely trailing on, and will potentially start to close that gap. Another fastest though for JP Goslet, 1:32.5, and he is rapidly trying to get past the rest of the drivers here. Currently the fastest from Omar Khan up at the top is a 1:34.7 from the driver up in the front, but JP Goslet a lot faster than that at the moment. But only 5 minutes left to go here in this race, and there's still a lot of good action that we get to watch here between all of our drivers and seeing what they can do. In the mix between each other here, that battle for 10th position has changed up. Unfortunately, Jared Leask has made a mistake somewhere, and he has dropped off. But now he's putting pressure on Chad Bell. He's going to go side by side, the X6 versus the X4, and Jared Leask is going to have to tuck behind Chad Bell. Through Coppice they will come on to the no, that's through McLean's, apologies, and up towards Coppice they will run now into the Starkey Straight and then Fogarty S's, seeing if Jared Leask can hold on here right up on the inside. It's a deja vu moment for him, as he's doing the exact same as what he did with Gio Sakia just one lap ago, and now he's doing it with the likes of Chad Bell. He's actually lost out to Chad Bell there, who's pulled out, and now Aratilia Motogotsele is going to find his way of challenging Chad Bell, and he's indeed going to move up one spot. So good stuff there from Aratilia to find a spot when nobody would have expected it. He moves up one. Tamsangwa Konki down 14th. He's also holding on. And Nico Quintal down 15th. Rez Barber, he's unfortunately down 60th position. All the way down in 18th is Ryan Grigoratos, down in 20th position, not having the best of races for today. And seeing if he can hold on for these last 3.5 or so minutes. Kitso Magia, currently in 5th position. He's done a good job in the pit stop strategies to flip himself into the top 5. And seeing if he can try and get maybe one more position. But he is 6 seconds off of JP Goslet, so it's a long way to work off of. Derek Truscott currently holding P1 at the moment to Daniel Kent. and seeing if he can hold on. Remember that Daniel Kent is putting severe amounts of pressure here. It's over 6/10 and continuously applying it over and over here to see what they can do. Carl Williams behind in third is feeling it from JP Goslet, who does currently have the fastest recurring lap times out on the field. So you got to watch out there for JP Goslet, because he does look to be quite on fire today, and hoping that he can possibly render some good results by the end of it. 2.5 or so minutes left, just embarking on 3 minutes to go in this race. There's a good battle from 8th position all the way down to 11th, and all these cars are within one neat long train of each other. Only about a second or so separates them out on circuit, and you can see them all busy trying to fight it out with each other. 15th position also holding on there. That's Nico Quintal. Just behind him is Riaz Barber, who's slowly getting a little bit closer. 8th position battle between Jersekia and Jared Leesk might be revived here. There you can see the headlight driver of Jared Leesk, one of the only drivers here in the TGN Pro Series who opt to use headlights. And so he's trying to see if he can close the gap on Jersekia once again. He did unfortunately lose out on it a bit, and now trying to see if he can continue his streak. Derek Truscott is onto the second last lap, and next lap will be white flag racing, which means 1 lap left to go in this event. So he's got 2 more laps to go here still. This will be the lap just before white flag, so a little bit longer that he's got to try and fend off Daniel Kent, a very fast and furious opponent in the background there. I hope that's not trademark saying fast and furious, but indeed he is fast and he is furious. And Carl Williams in the background there, 3rd place, trying to see if he can hold on strong. It's become a little bit quiet on the grid, as some of our drivers have really started to throw in that consistency factor. Kitsumajia is also trying to work his way around and up to the likes of JP Goslet, but just trailing behind for Kitsumajia. He is currently 4/10 behind, and so this might turn into a bit of a battle here. JP Goslet was setting some consistent lap times, but now the last have not been what he would have wanted. 1:35 for his last, 1:32.7 for Kitsumajia. So Kitso definitely catching up now and potentially coming up into the Goddard S's, probably the Fogarty S's, and heading into Melbourne Hairpin. This might be a bit of an opportunity that might open a door for Kitsumajia to make his attack here, and into Melbourne Hairpin they go. He's going to actually take the outside line around JP Goslet. Is he going to be able to hold it though, is the real question, and unfortunately not. Just not enough to hold on to that one. 50 seconds left to go here on the board, and coming up to the white flag being waved is Derek Truscott. The white flag will officially be out here for this final lap. 40 seconds left to go in heat number 1. Daniel Kent, if you want any opportunity to make this overtake, he's got to do it now, or else it's not going to happen. Oliver Kent saying eating a baked potato and watching son Daniel in England. Very interesting there, Oliver Kent. What a great way to spend your Thursday evening, watching some good old racing while eating a baked potato. Nothing better than that. And talking about that as well, Daniel Kent is doing an incredible job up in second to render more and more points. In the background there, looks like Kitsumajia did block the brakes a little bit. So did Michael de Kock. Now in session governance pushing on behind him to see if he can render some further possible results. 7th place though, that we're on board with now, and this is going to be Session Governor right on the backside of Michael de Kock. Is this going to be enough for Session Governor to potentially get an overtake? He actually makes contact on the backside there of Michael de Kock and almost spins him around, but Michael de Kock is able to just hold on there and not lose his grips whatsoever. So good working on there. But into the Fogarty S's we are going to come now shortly with these two, and we'll snap to our race leader as he heads into the Melbourne Hairpin and up into Goddard's and the Wheatcroft Straight. But up in front, Derek Truscott, who was able to overtake JP Goslet well at the beginning of the race and then be completely uncontested. It's 12 laps on these tires. The drivers have not pitted to swap out tires. It's just been a refuel in this slightly shorter race compared to what we're used to seeing. And Derek Truscott is going to come across the line to take the Heat 1 win, further extending his championship lead. What a great move there for Derek Truscott, and he's going to move up there and take a win on the board. Second is going to be Daniel Kent, and third for Carl Williams. Fourth is going to be, fifth for Kitsumajia. Sixth for Michael de Kock. Seventh for Session Governor. Eighth for Sakia. Ninth for Jared Leesk. And then it's going to be 10th for Chad Bell. 11th for Arutilia Matsogosele. 12th for Jordan Huben. 13th for Omar Khan. Tom Sanko Konki is going to be down 14th. Nico Quintal will take 15th position. Riaz Baba down 16th. Evan Paul in 17th. And then Ryan Grigoratos will be your final driver down in 17th position, who will try and work his way around the track to bring it home here. But that is officially it for heat number 1. We will be back with you in approximately 5 minutes time for heat number 2. Don't go anywhere. We will be back. Alrighty, ladies and gents, we come back from a short break, and now we officially head into the start of heat number 2, and we are getting right away into the racing action here. Tevin Paul, with that reverse grid being applied, will be starting up at the top, we believe, and Ryan Grigeratos actually all the way at the top in our spots, and seeing what the drivers can do. It's a bit quiet out there, but I think it's because our drivers are far away from the camera, and there we indeed do hear the audio finally coming in between our BTCC cars. Ryan Grigeratos is going to try and hold this lead, but unfortunately he's already feeling the pressure from Riaz Barber up at the top spot, seeing what Riaz Barber can do. And hopefully we get to see a bit more action coming in between all of these drivers as they all head up the field now. Tevin Paul on the outside line of Jared Leask. And hopefully we get to see a bit more action between these guys. Jordan Hubin down in 5th place. And the whole grid has fortunately managed it all the way down through the Craner Curves and Old Hairpin and Starkey's Bridge. All of them have managed it, but now there's chaos out on track, and Omar Khan has been tapped around by somebody else. Ryan Grigeratos is also down, and so is Derek Truscott, our race and championship leader from heat number 1, and also leading the championship, is all the way down in 16th position now. He's going to have to try and work his way back up to render any possible result here that can get him some points up on the board. Jared Leask is going to be your driver who leads race number 2, and leading it with an incredible feat as well, hoping that he can keep the traction going here for the lead of this race, and hopefully he doesn't feel the pressure here from Riaz Barber, one of our Durban drivers. Nico Quintal also holding down there in 3rd position. Jer Sakia down 4th, seeing what he can do to hopefully make his way up the circuit. Jordan Hubin down 5th position is trying to make his way and his amends, and he's a couple spots up there in the Z4 car. Tevin Paul will be behind him as well in 6th position, trying to hold on there. Unfortunately for Omar Khan, down 17th, as well as 15th of Ryan Grigeratos and Derek Truscott. They're well off of the grid right now. Here comes battle up on the inside. It's Kitsuma Gia on the inside there of Tamsankwa Konke, and he makes the overtake. Nice and seamless. Good move there from Kitsuma Gia to get that overtake done and dusted. Chad Bell in the background will also be looking to possibly get involved here with this attack. The rest of your drivers in the background trying to get involved with this as well. A good overtake there from Kitsuma Jet to move further up on the pack. Remember that it's because this reverse grid order, we do often see a couple slower drivers up in the front, and then it allows for the slightly faster drivers here in the Pro Series to get some picks earlier on in the race. Just up ahead, it looks like Tevin Paul is locked up behind Jordan Hubin, and so he's going to slowly start to feel the pressure there from Kitsuma Jet if he's not too cautious. From the rear side there, Tamsanko Konki will look to try and bring redemption to get past the likes of Kitsuma Gia. Just behind him, which we can see it, car camera. This is the front nose camera, but bringing it in on the back side. There we can just see the likes of Chad Bell trying to hold on behind Chad Bell, and now actually going to be side by side with him is going to be the likes of Tamsanko Konki, who's just going to get past. No, that's JP Gosling, apologies, who just gets past the likes of Tevin Paul. Great little move there, and now he can continue pushing to try and get ahead of Tevin Paul. So lots of competitive action coming in here between the mid-packs. Jared Leask is also starting to feel the consistent pressure here, because Gio Sakia has just moved up into second place, and these two long-time rivals in the TGN Pro Series. They've been a part of the Pro Series for quite some time now, and for over a few seasons, and they get to race again here coming into Season 2 of 2026. Gio Sakia now looking to see if he can redeem and get some points up on the board into P1. Unfortunately, his race number 1 wasn't the best of results, and so he will try to see if he can bring in some of that good money for round number 2, heat 2 in round number 3, apologies. And now Jordan Hubin still holding off in 6th. Tamsanko Konki is lost out from not only 1 but 2, and now he's all the way down there. Kitsuma Gia will still be holding up in 5th position. Riaz Barber has also lost out completely. He was in 2nd behind Jared Leask. He's all the way down to 4th now behind Nico Quintal, who's also managed to get up ahead of him. So a little bit of switching around happening in your mid-packs though. Here comes the battle. This is Daniel Kent on the outside and Carl Williams on the inside. Two very sustained Cape Town drivers and very good out on track as well. They will now go head-to-head with each other, seeing what they can do. And Carl Williams will be looking to take the outside of the Fogarty S's Daniel Kent's going to hold the defensive line here, and oh, it's actually going to be contact between the two of them here. Daniel Kent is going to try and keep the top. That's actually Michael the Cock who's joined in on the battle, and so he's going to be coming down into Melbourne Hairpin, and he breaks way too late. There's chaos going into the hairpin as multiple people make contact with each other there. Quite a couple affected. Kevin Paul, Daniel Kent, Carl Williams, Session Governor in the background. They're all affected in this midway fight. And in the background there, Kevin Paul goes defensive, trying to hold off. And that's one of the blue cars there, Session Governor, forcing his way in the Toyota Corolla. It looks like somebody also started to lose some grip there in the background. And that was Michael the Cock, who got semi-spun around there all the way back down to 14th. Derek Truscott holds the 12th position now. It's going to be side by side between himself and Kevin Paul, seeing what they can do coming into the next sequence of corners. Yeah, on the outside is Derek Truscott. Just behind is Carl Williams. He's trying to get back up to where Daniel Kent is in the top 10. But quite a neat mid-pack fight that we're getting to witness here in this race. There's a bit of a gap currently up at the top. That's Tamsanko Konki and JP Goslet. And then quite a bit of a distance behind is going to be 9th of Chad Bell. So he's trying to work his way up. Daniel Kent just behind as well in 10th position. He's going to slowly start to put pressure here on Chad Bell to potentially get up into 10th position. So Chad Bell's going to have to watch out for that one. Up in your top spots though, as we are approaching that 14-minute mark towards the halfway point of this race. And then all things will be concluded for round number 2. But Riaz Barber, currently sitting 4th position, is trying to keep that top 5. Remember that he wasn't second behind Jared Lees, but unfortunately starting to feel the pressure of a couple of our foster drivers. Kitsumajia is right on the backside of him, and that's for 5th position. Seeing what Kitsumajia can do. Kitsumajia did get, I think he did get 5th as well, actually, in the previous race. So he's managed to recover back to where he started, back to where he finished, apologies. And then remember that the reverse grid just sets all the drivers in the complete opposite order. So Jared Leesk has done an incredible job to recover his race. Remember, I said I heard screaming in race number 1. That was Jared Leesk. He dropped off the grid earlier on and then had to try and work his way back up, but it did benefit him for race number 2 because he started a bit further up. The first driver into the pit stop is going to be Carl Williams and Michael the Cock. They jump in, both of them, to get their pit stops done. They were in quite turbulent air there in the battle for 10th position. And so they've decided to come in early to get their pit stops sorted. Aratilia Motogosele is also in the pit stops, but he's been in the pits for 7 minutes. So I think Aratilia has called it for this race, unfortunately. And that's unfortunate to see for Aratilia's points on the board. So he will have to try and recover that in some future races. JP Goslet still holding 7th position. Jordan Huben just up in front. And seeing what they can do. Just behind is Chad Bell. And behind him is going to be Daniel Kent. Daniel Kent will soon be getting past Chad Bell here. But Chad Bell is putting in a monumentous effort. A driver who moved up from the TGN Rookie Series up to the Pro Series. And seeing what he can do to keep Daniel Kent at bay at this point in the race. 12 minutes left to go. Riaz Barber still holding that 4th position slot. Nico Quintal is also doing a great job at it. Jared Leesk has lost to Gio Sakia, though. I mentioned that there was pressure being applied to him, and now that pressure has become more of a reality because Gio Sakia has jumped up into P number 1. Great move up on the board there for Gio Sakia to get those positions moving. Jared Leesk will now try and get redemption to move back up into P1 here. He's going to be hungry for the overtake, so potentially a bit of contact might happen between the two of them. They are very justifiable races, and they've been here for quite some time, as I've mentioned already. So they will try and go head-to-head here to see who is going to be crowned at the top spot for heat number 2. Session Governed is in, Chad Bell is in, Riaz Barber, Ryan Grigoratos, Daniel Kent, Kitsumajia. Quite a couple of our drivers have decided to jump in. A couple of others going for the overcut strategies. An average pit stop time of 29 or so seconds that you lose in the pit stop. And so that also needs to be factored into your strategy making decisions as to when you are going to come into the pit stops. It determines where you'll come out and who you are going to lose spots to out on the circuit compared to those drivers who may pit slightly differently compared to you. Derek Truscott still holding down in 7th position, seeing what he can do in a 1:33.8. Kevin Paul just a bit further behind in 8th position as well. He's holding on as much as he can. Omar Khan with a bit of a recovery drive here. Knocked off at the beginning of the race. And seeing if he can try and recover as much as he can here. He has not pitted. So that 9th position slot will be succumbed by the drivers behind. But still a good bit of momentum that is being built up here for Omar Khan to potentially get some better results. A couple more people getting some shout outs in the virtual grandstand. Carl Williams has got I believe, a partner in the virtual grandstand cheering him on. Great to see there. And then Riaz also getting a little bit of support in the virtual grandstand there from a supporter. Riaz Barber still holding up in 4th position. No, actually, apologies, not 4th position, down 11th. He did come to the pit stop, so he's down to 11th. A couple of other drivers, Jessica has come in, so is Jared Leask and JP Goslet. For the overcutters, though, Nico Quintal and Jordan Huben. Same with Tamsan Kwakonki and Derek Truscott, who's trying to recover a bit of his race here. They've all decided to stay out for one more lap, possibly even 2, depending on how that fuel tank is looking, and trying to plan out where they will be coming out of the grid. You can see how the strategy of clean air works, because these 4 drivers, apologies, who decided to stay out have got the cleanest air out on circuit. Not many people around them, whereas that battle for 11th is all going to be a bunch of dirty air for the BTCC cars. It's tight and close racing, and so the tighter it is, the less space that there is for clean air to enter into that roundabout space of racing, and you do get to see a little bit more drag being presented on the drives from dirty air. It's not too bad in BTCCs compared to what you see in something like Formula Racing, where dirty air is a high factor to consider in your strategy where you will be sitting behind other drivers. But BTCC, it is definitely still a reality. In any kind of racing, it is still a reality to consider. Daniel Kent still trying to hold off in 13th position, and then Carl Williams behind him is also doing what he needs to do in 14th, trying to control and manage his pace. Down in 14th position. Just behind him is Michael the Cock, who will potentially try and get up ahead of Carl Williams. Daniel Kent just up ahead in 13th. He's putting pressure on Session Governor here, and Session Governor also getting a bit of a bad flip from the reverse grid. He did finish 7th, and so all the way to the backside he kind of went, as 7th is well within the higher up range of the middle of the amount of drivers, so he did get pushed back towards the 3rd quartile. And so Session Governor trying to see what he can do to recover this race a bit more. Chad Bell is just up ahead, and so Session Governor well at work to try and make his way up ahead. Tamsan Kwakonki is into the pit stops there, and so is Jordan Huben and Derek Truscott. Nico Quintal's coming as well. Omar Khan, I don't think he has pitted yet, because he was all the way down on the rest of the grid, but he is currently trailing this entire race in P number 1. 8 minutes down, unless he pitted way earlier. But I'm not too sure how he would have been able to recover this, to sit so high up here at 8:30 in South Africa for the TGN Pro Series round number 3 of season number 2 here at Donnington Park. And still a couple more races, 8 total races to go in this calendar. And so 5 more races coming to you after this one, in a stacked, competitive, and very structured championship that will present some neat amount of prizes. Apologies, my English is not Englishing tonight. Some neat prizes for our race winners here in the TGN Pro Series. I think the Rookie Series has also got something a little bit smaller, but still a nice little win for those drivers who choose to put their front foot forwards and put all the best efforts in, and try and get those race results rendered. The practice has definitely paid off, though, for most of our drivers. We really have had a good, consistent race in terms of self-inflicted incidents. As I say that, though, I do just hear someone shouting down on the field, on the field there. And oh, there's contact. Chad Bell. My goodness, the commentator should never speak. As soon as I speak, there's contact. Chad Bell has just been knocked off by, I believe, Tamsan Kwakonki and Carl Williams just up ahead. And so he's going to be going around, not going to be happy with that one whatsoever. Omar Khan is still holding P1, but just behind is Jeff Sakir and Jared Leask. These two were leading the race, which is why I say I think Omar Khan does still need to come in to serve that pit stop, because he's obviously ahead of the 2 race leaders, while Omar Khan was down in 17th place. Now Gio Sakir is going to get back ahead of Jared Leask. They did fight it out slightly. Jared did stick his nose up on the inside and get slightly ahead, but he's been pushed back. Now trying to fight it out. Jordan Huben holds a nice bit of a train here. Riaz Barber to Session Governor Daniel Kent, and then Derek Truscott will be a little bit further behind, but still within a possible overtaking spot. Michael Lecoq is just behind him, and then Carl Williams and Tamsan Kwakonki also trailing behind all these drivers. 6 minutes left to go, though, in this race. Not a lot of time left in the second 20-minute sprint. We've got one more sprint coming up for you after this one, which is going to be our chaos grid, in which we'll need a little bit of time to prepare the service. So we'll be on a slightly longer break after this race, and the chaos grid is always fun because the drivers are placed in a completely random grid order. So some of the fastest drivers are either placed well in the front and they get a bit of a clean and consistent race, or they're placed well at the back and have to fight throughout the entire grid, which is anyways kind of what happens in the reverse grid. Here's Riaz Barber on Session Governor and seeing what he can do on the outside line. Session Governor is going to hold the inside though, seeing if he can potentially get the better rotation here in the Corolla. Riaz Barber is going to be pushed slightly out here, and we will have to settle for that one. Now coming back up on the outside, you have Session Governor. He's got to watch out from behind though, because Daniel Kent is also hungry for a couple of positions, and he's right on the tail of Riaz Barber. Omar Khan is now into the pit stop, so that's why I was saying I think he still had one more left to go, and indeed he did. So he's only coming in now. That will drop him all the way down the rest of the grid, unfortunately. There he comes out, and will probably come out just ahead or just behind Ryan Grigoratos. It depends where the exit line is. It's a little bit further back on this track, and so he's actually going to lose out to Grigoratos and potentially even to Tevin Paul here, and indeed he does. So unfortunately Omar Khan is going to go all the way down to 17th position in this race. Jared Lee's up in second place, and Kitso Majia has actually played an unknown card here. Apologies about that, we weren't focusing on the top few, but Kitso Majia has managed to struggle his way up into P number 1. Jared Leesk in second. Gio Sakia is now feeling third position under pressure because JP Goslet has jumped into the turret in fourth position. Great moves up on the board there, and this has really thrown a bit of a blindside into the top 5 here. Gio Sakia has thrown a bit of a blunder in confusion. Now in the background there, Jordan Huben and Session Governor are going to go head to head. Will Session have the inside line as we head into the Hoggetty S's? He is going to have the inside curb, but now trying to go for the switchback. In the background there's Jordan Huben. I don't think it's going to be enough though, and Jordan just on the tail here. Is it going to be a dive into Melbourne Hairpin? Good defense though from Session Governor from a long shot away. Is that Daniel Kent? And indeed it is. Daniel Kent is going to go side by side here with Jordan Huben, and coming from a very long shot away has now tried to make the overtake. Is he going to do it again into Goddard's? And I think he is. He's got the inside line. He's occupied the track, and there's nothing that Jordan can do to deny him there. Gets up ahead. Now going to be side by side with each other in the blind spot there from Jordan Huben and Session Governor still well within this fight. A good amount of action going out on circuit here. Up on the outside though, Daniel Kent seeing if he can get enough revolving around to make this work, but unfortunately not able to get ahead of Session Governor that he would have hoped for. Jessica is now having a bit more of a relaxing race. Not too much pressure being felt there from Session Governor for the time being. JP Goslet has unfortunately dropped off there, and so he will not be rendering any results. Session Governor's made a terrible mistake though on the exit of the Craner curves in the Old Hairpin, heading up towards McLean's, and now this is going to be Daniel Kent leading the battle. So all the way up to fourth position there for Daniel Kent. What a good rotation he's got, and Jordan Huben has also moved up. No, that's Derek Truscott who's actually gotten up ahead into fifth position. Jordan Huben's all the way down to 6 now, and then Riaz Barber down in 7th position, trying to hold on strong as well. Michael the Cock has been moved down to 8th position. Yeah, this is a lot of strangled racing. Riaz Barber is also feeling the pressure now from Carl Williams and the likes of Michael the Cock. They're all in a bit of a semi-trained battle here. There's contact made there between Riaz Barber and Michael the Cock, and now Carl Williams is going to sneak up right in between all of them and try to see if he can work his magic. There's huge contact though heading into Melbourne Hairpin, and 3 drivers are off. Tamsankwa Konki, it looks to be Chad Bell, and also Riaz Barber. They all get sent off the circuit as to the only fault their own. And my goodness, these drivers are really putting pressure on each other. Someone's touched the curb, and that's Tamsankwa Konki, and just goes into the side of Nico Quintal there. That could have been possible hectic damage for the likes of Nico Quintal, but 80% reduction, 80% total damage, or 20% reduction from the default, but still a hard shunt on the left-hand side there from Tamsankwa Konki. He's got to watch out there and might get a bit of a penalty for that. Well, a couple of penalties probably will be administered after today. 3rd position there of Gio Sakia. He's still trying to hold it out there, see nice and strong. Jared Leesk also in a bit of a no man's land now. So the top 3 completely away from the struggles behind. Derek Truscott leads this large train from 4th down to 6th position. Daniel Kent and Jordan Huben seeing if he can get his way further up there. Michael the Cock will hold 7th. And then Session Governor currently holding 8th position. What a wild ride we got to take there through the Melbourne Hairpin. Here again, once again, heading up towards McLeans and Coppice. It's going to be hyper competitive between these couple of cars. Nico Quintal's going to get just up ahead, and he's going to avoid the chaos. But now we're looking to potentially go 3 wide, coming up towards the Fogarty S's. Chad Bell's gotten slightly ahead, but it is going to be Riaz Barber and Tamsankwa Konki, a small 4-pack, as they head into the S's, and there's contact between a couple of the drivers there. They all managed to keep the nose pointed straight, but Tamsankwa Konki is going to be the most disadvantaged driver here on the outside line coming into the hairpin. Is this going to be clean and consistent between the three? And it looks like it is. Tamsanqua going for the undercut, and looks like he might be able to do it here against the likes of Riaz Barber. Good racing between all of them. We are on white flag lap here, so just coming towards the end of it. Riaz Barber looks up on the inside, though, of Nico Quintal coming into Goddard's, and I just don't think he had the track occupancy there to make the overtake stick, so he has to stay on the outside. Nico Quintal stays up ahead, and the poor exit from Riaz Barber has put him into the clutches here of Tamsanqua Konki, who's going to have the inside run into the next corner. Move up again from Tamsanqua Konki. Carl Williams has also joined in on this battle now and gets ahead of Tamsanqua Konki. He's going to be pushing ahead of Riaz Barber. Apologies. He's now going to be pushing up towards Tamsanqua Konki and then to Nico Quintal. He's joined the battle a little bit too late, though, because the race is about to be over. 4th and 5th position, still trailing on strong. And just behind Daniel Kent is Jordan Huben, who's trying to make one more last lunge to get up towards Daniel Kent. But unfortunately, time has officially run out. We are in overtime here. And we are about to see the race leader cross the checkered flag line for the last time for Heat 2 here. We still have one more heat coming to you for the night with a slightly longer break in between, so don't go anywhere too far. Make sure you are back for all the TGN racing action. Kitso Magia, though, has fought long and hard, and he's done an incredible drive from 5th, well, further on the grid, all the way up to 5th, and now up into 1st position. The X8 driver there in the Toyota Corolla is going to come across Goddard's, the final corner, onto the Wheatcroft straight. And what a great race has been there for Kitso Magia. Good points on the board, and he's going to move up in the championship standings. Jared Lees will take 2nd, 3rd for Jessica, 4th for Derek Truscott, 5th for Kent, 6th for Jordan Huben, 7th for Michael de Kock, and then 8th for Session Governor, as they all still pile through onto the checkered flag line. 9th for Chad Bell, 10th for Nico Quintal, 11th for Tamsanqua Konki. It's going to be a bit of a dash towards the line here. Not enough in the tank, though, to push it over the line and get that position done and dusted. Carl Williams to Riaz Barber. Omar Khan will be down in 14th, and then 15th for Tevin Paul, 16th for Ryan Gregoratos, who's actually stopped out on track and has just decided to call it for now. That's officially the action done and dusted, though, for Heat 2. We will be back with all the racing action in approximately 17 to 18 minutes time, so don't go anywhere too far. Maybe get something to eat or drink, and then we will be back with the stellar action of Heat number 3 here at the TGN Pro Series for round number 3 at Donnington Park. And it is officially time for the final heat of tonight's racing this Thursday night. And the TGN Pro Series comes to an end for round number 3. And then round number 4 coming to you in 2 weeks' time. One last 20-minute race to defy all odds. And Kitsumajia has gotten himself on the pole position through the random server calculator. Very overpowered positioning there for Kitsumajia, considering that he just won the previous race. And he is in a great opportunity here to get 2 wins on the board here in tonight's event. So let's see what Kitsu can do. Tevin Paul will line up just behind him. And then Carl Williams, Rez Barber, Omar Khan, Chad Bell, Ryan Grigeratos, Nico Quintal, Gio Sikia, and Artile Motogosele is your top 10 for today's racing. So let's see how this is going to turn out. About 15 seconds to go on the gantries before we get going of the race start here. And then our drivers will be getting ready to rumble. We officially have our 6 gantry lights ready to go for you. It sounds quiet, but it's because we're far away. And it's officially going to be lights out action for the start of it. Let's get that nice racing start camera, and there it is. Kitsumajia holding it out there in the white Toyota Corolla. Coming up already in the background is Carl Williams, looking to take this 3 wide. Devon Paul has not had the best of starts here, nor has Kitsumajia. Carl Williams has gotten the best of starts out of the 3 of them, and he's already contesting out for pole position. What can he do on the outside of Kitsumajia? The rest of our drivers get through red gate quite consistently. It doesn't look like we've got any incidents on the board here. Derek Truscott will be randomized down to 15th position. That is very unfortunate for him, considering he's chasing down on keeping that championship in the lead. And now he's going to have to try and fight all the way from the backside with a hyper-competitive field of drivers. Kitsumajia does keep Carl Williams at bay. Riaz Barber gets up ahead into 3rd position. Tevin Paul's down 4th, unfortunately, in this race. Chad Bell is someone's off in the background there. I'm going to try and find out who it is here. I'm not actually too sure if somebody went completely off. Indeed it was Jared Lees, who just got a bit of a rear tap there, and he's been spun around all the way to the backside of the grid. He will go in the 18th spot, and I was going to have to try and work for it in this case. Gio Sakia down in 6th position. We'll continue to try and push on strong. There's contact. It's heavy contact, and that's Tevin Paul on the backside, I believe, of Chad Bell. And both of them have gone round at the Fogarty S's. And not contact you want to be seeing at this point of the race. Omar Khan has gone off as well. That's with Tevin Paul, I believe, as well. Chad Bell, and then Gio Sakia has also gone all the way down to 16th, 15th position. So a little bit of chaos coming in here for lap number 1. And a couple of our drivers really not doing the best work out there in terms of track consistency. We'll have to get a little bit better coming in for the rest of this race. Kitsumajia keeps the lead, though, for the time being, but Carl Williams will be aggressive behind with the fastest lap of the race, pushing on strong. Riaz Barber 2 seconds slower than the top 2, and so he's going to try and keep up here, but it doesn't look like it's going to be too possible in this current situation. Aratile Motsogotsele does currently sit in 4th. He mentioned that he unfortunately ruined his race with the pit stops there, and I believe he got a 35-second time penalty added somewhere due to incorrect formatting followed, and so he currently sits 4th. This is going to be a redemption race for him that he needs to try and work with, but he does have Nico Quintal, Daniel Kent, a couple of the Foster drivers behind him who are going to try and get past with all odds defying against him. Maritile will bring the defense masterclass here in this race to see if he can hold off the strong opposition from behind. Nico Quintal, Daniel Kent, these 2 drivers are going to continue to put the pressure on for the rest of this race. Right on the backside, seeing what he can do. And unfortunately, for the time being, it doesn't look like it's going to be much. But here comes the dive. Daniel Kent up on the inside of Nico Quintal. And it looks like he's going to make the overtake. Great work there for Daniel Kent to get up ahead. And he moves up 1 spot to continue pushing on towards Aratile Motsogotsele up in 4th position. And Daniel Kent, we saw how competitive he was in the previous race. He's going to continue to prove that into heat number 3. Just behind Michael de Kock in 9th position. He's side by side with Ryan Grigoratos. And a couple of drivers really in the mid-packs here. Grigoratos just behind him. JP Goslet, who unfortunately had a bit of a rig issue is what we're assuming he's done in Cape Town. He did go straight on at one of the corners and then disconnected from the server. So definitely some kind of rig issue that he had in race number 2. So let's hope that we don't get to see that at all for any of our drivers here into the second heat. TGN Pro Series of round number 3 for the final heat of tonight's racing. Ryan Grigoratos is going to go side by side here with Derek Truscott. That's with Michael de Kock, apologies, as they head down towards the Craner curves and towards the Old Hairpin. Trying to see how this is going to work out for all of our drivers here. It gets very tight between the Craner curves and the Old Hairpin and Starkey's Bridge, and someone's off in the background, and it's JP Goslet. He's just taken it too hard coming out of Old Hairpin and up towards Starkey's Bridge, and he's made a critical error that's going to take him all the way down to 17th position there. That is very unfortunate for JP Goslet, and he's going to have to try work back at it. Jordan Hubin currently alongside Gio Sakia. These two have been fighting it out the entire night from what I heard from Gio Sakia, and now fighting once again. It looks like Gio Sakia has secured some kind of freedom there. Gets ahead and will continue to try and keep ahead. Ryan Grigoratos is also trying to hold on strong in 10th position. Session Governors just up ahead, and they're actually going to go side by side almost through the Fogarty S's now. Michael de Kock and Derek Truscott still further up on the field. Nico Quintal in 6th position. He's also trying to make his headway. And then Aratile Motsogotsele is trying to get the rotation in 5th position to potentially get up ahead of Daniel Kent. He has lost out from Daniel Kent just a couple of corners ago, and we didn't catch that one. Apologies. But Oratile has indeed lost out. Kitsamajia has set the fastest lap time so far, 1:32.4, and substantially quicker than the best lap time from Carl Williams of a 1:33.6. So much faster, and as you can see, he's definitely proving that on the circuit. 2.6 seconds ahead already of Carl Williams, and Riaz Barber, unfortunately, also about 3 seconds away from Carl Williams. So the top three have started separating each other already quite substantially. Daniel Kent is potentially going to join in on the fray here. He's going to catch up to Riaz Barber, a little bit of a newer driver to the Pro Series. Daniel Kent, an experienced driver and incredibly quick out on the circuit. He's also got his own home-based rig now, upgraded from a Logitech G27 to a Moser R5, I believe, or an R3. I think it's an R5 though. And so he has been putting in the laps at home to make sure that he's got the pace out on the board in 4th position to see how he can do to hold it out strong. Riaz Barber will slowly start to feel the pressure here. Nico Quintel is also going to continue to try and apply it on Derek Truscott just up ahead. And Derek Truscott and Michael Lecoq just a bit further behind, seeing what they can do. Jordan Human is also going to try and gain a little bit closer towards this fight, but it's going to take some time, so we'll have to see how this will work for all of the drivers. Gio Sakia is trailing behind Session Governor here, potentially going for an overtake up on the inside line. It looks like he is indeed going to make the overtake. Into Melbourne Hairpin he goes. What a great move there from Gio Sakia, and just manages to get up ahead of Session Governor. Kitsamajia with another fastest lap time at 32.4, and really starting to lock in now to get the fastest times out on the board here in this race. Ryan Grigoratos has dropped substantially since the start, unfortunately, and down to 12th place he will go. Jared Leask will now start to chase him down for the battle for 12th position. We should start to see our first of pit stoppers, and indeed we do with Session Governor. It showed that there was a pit order name next to Session Governor. Definitely not. And Session Governor still holding it out. We do have somebody else in the pit. That is Tevin Paul, who currently sits in the pit lane. So one person into the box. Omar Khan, unfortunately, not having the race he would have wanted yet today. I don't know if he has maybe come into the pit a bit earlier, which is why he's so far off on the grid. But Omar Khan currently down in 8th position. I don't think the live timing that I have here is going to show me if they've come into the pits or not. I've got a long pit stop border, but there we go. It actually, Omar Khan did indeed come into pit at lap number 2s, I believe. So I'm not actually too sure what that element is showing me. A little bit odd. A bit of a strange one. In any case, though, we'll have to see what Omar Khan is going to do out on the grid. Oratile Motsogosele back on the rear side of Riaz Barber, heading down into the hairpin here. And maybe trying to see if there's a way to get past. Daniel Kent has gotten past Riaz Barber, though, and up into P3 now, so completely changed up the order for the podium dynamic. And this is going to be a chase down towards 2nd and 3rd, with Carl Williams and Kitsamajia just being a bit further up ahead. So we'll see how this is going to work. But Daniel Kent is actually going to jump into the box now and going to get that pit stop that is scheduled for all of our drivers done and dusted. So great stuff there for Daniel Kent to get that pit stop served. And so now we can continue to push around on the circuit for the rest of the time being. Riaz Barber will hold 3rd position. He's currently got the inside line of Oratile Motsogosele, but now feeling the pressure, coming down into Craner curves and up towards Old Hairpin here. It looks like he's going to hold it, but Oratile is not going to let go just too soon. Onto the cockpit can we go? And Oratile is going to be right on the right side here. Just behind is Derek Truscott. He's joining in on this battle as well. And so this is potentially turning 3 wide between all of them. Riaz Barber has got quite a train behind him. And not too sure why the rear camera reset. But our Derek Truscott is now going to get up on the inside of Oratile Motsogosele. Unfortunately for Oratile, he's not going to be behind the 3-pack here. And will have to try and work his way back up. Just getting on to the middle of this event, about 10 minutes to go. And this is where we'll see most of our drivers coming in to get those pit stops served. The the undercut is coming around 12 minutes. The overcut is coming around 8 to 7 minutes. Most other drivers will come in around the 10-minute mark. So we might be seeing a couple of these actually fighting it out, with Oratile now getting up on the inside of Riaz Barber. And he's going to get that overtake done and dusted. Good clean move there for Oratile Motsogosele to get up ahead of Riaz Barber. Good move, but he might even be coming into the pit lane now, so keep your eyes peeled for all those drivers who will be jumping into the box. Kitsamajia is in, and there we do indeed see Oratile Motsogosele coming in. Carl Williams is going to stay out on the track, though, and tries to see if he can potentially overcut Kitso Magia, he's going to be fed back into traffic now, Kitso. And so he's going to have to try and manage that. Where will Carl Williams come out, though? He's trying to stay out as long as he can to avoid any kind of unnecessary traffic. But sometimes lapping out there by yourself, you tend to become slower because you forget all the elements around you. There's nobody else around you, and you kind of just go into a bit of a zone out mode and not really a focus mode to be setting those lap times that you need to. Riaz Barber looks like he's also stayed out for the time being. Derek Truscott has also stayed out, so he holds second. And what a monumental leap up the grid so far it's been for Derek Truscott. He's all the way up to second. I know that the pit stops have just occurred, and so he will definitely drop a bit further down, but he has worked his way up all the way from the backside of the grid, essentially, and done a great job at it as well. 9 minutes left to go here. There is a good active battle for 9th position at the moment. This is Oratilia with Michael de Kock behind him. The rest of the grid has subsidized in terms of battles a little bit. Still a little bit... there's still a couple of drivers about 1 to 2 seconds of a distance between each other, but nothing really that is going to scream and make us run straight to the battle, as most of our drivers have begun to distance. Raz Barber's closest possibly right now with 1.1 seconds to Derek Truscott, so that's all we get to see for the time being. I do see Jared Leask is just on the backside there of Jordan Hooven as well, so maybe potentially going for a bit of an overtake soon to come in this race. Tamsankwa Konki is just by Kitso Magia, and Kitso is just going to get ahead of Tamsankwa Konki now, gets that pass done and dusted, and will move up ahead into 6th place. So good stuff there for Kitso Magia, the provisional leader of this race, who was in the lead before the pit stops and now down in 6th position. But here come all the global pit stops. Truscott, Barber, Williams and Goslet are all into the pit stop, and this is going to be the moment for Carl Williams. He's just exiting the pit lane, and he has not achieved what he wanted to. The overcut strategy did not get him what he wanted. He has gotten closer, though, to Kitso Magia, so it's gone down from 2.5 to 1.2, so a little bit of a decent-ish overcut, but not exactly what he wanted with trying to get ahead of Kitso Magia at the end of it. Unfortunately, the pit exit does happen right onto a straight, on the exit of a straight, and so that driver who's coming around the circuit tends to have a bit of an advantage because they've got the built-up speed driving right into the corner, and tends to lie up on the inside, which forces the driver from the pit lane to stay on the outside, and not much that they can do from that angle of attack compared to some other circuits. Geosic here, your only driver who technically hasn't come into the pit lane yet. 7 minutes left to go, and he will possibly be serving it within the next couple of corners. Possibly going to be coming in for the next lap here with 7 minutes left to go, or will we be seeing a bit of an Omar Khan move like we saw in race number 2? Omar Khan only coming in at about 5 minutes left to go in this race, really cutting it on the fuel border if you are getting it that close. So Geosic here will probably be coming in now. And looking at the time, you're losing a pit stop. It's about 29 or so seconds, and there we do see Geosic here jumping in. He is going to lose out quite massively to Kitso Magia and the drivers that follow. So let's keep our eyes peeled where Geosic here comes out. That is going to be an important one. And then there we see Kitso Magia now making his way through to get a bit further ahead. Back into P1 he will go. Carl Williams is already 1.7 seconds, so Kitso Magia has started to gap already here in this race. Good work from him. Geosic here is still exiting the pit lane now, and currently holding 4th position, now 5th. He's going to lose 6th as well. It's a long train of cars that's just going to pass him in the pit stop, but he's actually going to join midway into the battle here, so down to 7th he goes. A bit of a battle there for 5th position. This is Session Governor to Michael de Kock, Geosic here, and Oratile Motsogosele. So all 4 of these drivers are going to be fighting it out now for this fighting chance to potentially get the last couple of points out on the board. And we'll have to see who is going to come out on top for that one. Chad Bell has had a bit of a boring race here for race number 3. Not much action going on for him. Someone's off in the background though, and it's Riaz Barber. He's completely overshot the Old Hairpin, and off the track he will go. That is not what you want to see. I did see Jordan Hooben had damage on the front of that Corolla, I believe. Trying to see it. Yes, indeed he does. And you can see quite a lot of scratch marks on the front side of that car and on the left and right hand side. So he's carrying a little bit of damage that he's got to deal with for the remainder of this race. But only 5 minutes left to go. Just about 3 to 4 laps, depending on when a race leader comes across the line. Kitso Magia is going to come across now at about 5.5 minutes or so to go. So still plenty of time on the board here for Carl Williams to potentially try and attack. He has actually closed the gap down in the past lap, and this may actually be fastest lap coming in from Carl Williams, because he has done quite a masterclass to get ahead and closer here. Last lap from Kitsumajia was a 32.9. Last from Carl Williams was a 32.5. So it was his best lap time. Unfortunately, not the fastest, but he is catching. It was the fastest Sector 3, though, in the race so far. So definitely catching up there to Kitsumajia. Let's see if they're going to start to contest each other. That battle for 5th is also still scaling on further and further. Session Governor Michael Lecoq and Aratilia Montego-Sele down in 8th position. Jeff Sakia, JP Goslet, as they all try and hold their own weight in this race. Chad Bell down 10th as well, seeing what he can do to potentially migrate further up the board here. Jared Leask holding 11th position, with Jordan Huben down in 12th position. Omar Khan in 13th. Also trying to see what he can do. 14th for Tamsankwa Konki, and trying to get past Omar Khan here in the next wave of attacks. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it around the outside. He's going to look. Unfortunately, not going to make it happen this time around. And Tamsankwa Konki, good job there to try and mitigate the pressures. Riaz Barber in 15th, and then just behind him is going to be Ryan Grigoratos in 16th position. 17th for Nico Kuntal, who tries to hold on for the remainder of this race. Not much left to go in this level header for heat number 3. Kitsumajia up in first place, though, has held on strong for this entire race and will continue to hold on strong here for the rest as well. And let's see what he can do to potentially counter Carl Williams. But Carl Williams has indeed brought that gap down all the way from 1.3 to 0.7. So this is definitely pressure. Unfortunately, Daniel Kent is 6.5 seconds away here, so not much contention coming in there from him. And the rest of the drivers still trying to keep their cool level-headedness with 3 minutes left to go here in this race. Just about 2 minutes or so. And we'll wait to see when Kitsumajia does indeed come across the line. That's going to depend on if we get 2 or 3 laps left to go. But keep your eyes peeled for that one. Currently on board with Session Governor. He's holding off from Michael de Kock and Oratilia Montsogo-Sele. This is a nice bit of a battle going on. And then just behind him is Gio Sakia. He is trying to get closer, but it is proving to be quite difficult there. A little bit of an off track there for Session Governor, but he was able to keep it up in the top. It has brought Michael de Kock slightly closer, though, so potential bit of a battle coming there. Jared Leask down in 10th position, and he takes it way too wide, going up towards the bridge of Starkeys and up towards McLean now. He's going to lose 2 positions. Chad Bell and our Jordan Huben gets past him, so not going to be too happy there with that one, Jared Leask. He's going to have to try and work that one back up. Someone's gone off. It's Tamsankwa Konki, but he saves himself. My goodness, good save there from Tamsankwa. He just gets past there by Riaz Barber. And Nico Quintal will now be on the rear side of him, trying to make headway as well. Coming up towards the checkered flag line now, 2.5 minutes left to go. There is still ample time on the board for an additional lap. So this will be the second last lap of the race here. The next lap will be the final lap that Kitsumajia has got to defend against Carl Williams here. But that gap has stabilized somewhat. Kitsumajia has locked in for these last 2. And that is indeed what he needs to do in order to get the win of this race. Jeff Sakia in 8th position holds it strong. He's got JP behind. And JP, as we mentioned, really wants to redeem himself after having an unfortunate end to heat number 2 after some technical difficulties. So getting one more position on Jeff Sakia is going to do him good in terms of point standings. So let's see if he can do that, or he will unfortunately experience a bit of a drop in points here for the remainder of this race. Aratilia Montsogo-Sele and Michael de Kock, they're all trying to hold it out, and Michael de Kock in 6th position. He's putting pressure still on Session Governor. That's for the top 5 spots, so an important one as well. Good amount of points that can be made up there. First place is getting tucked in nicely, but still maintaining that gap is Kitsumajia to Carl Williams. It's now gone up to 8 tenths, so fluctuating by 1 or 2 tenths every lap, depending on the different sectors that these 2 drivers are taking and showing their strength, their strong points out on the circuit. That snail trail for 5th position is still going on strong. 10th position for Chad Bell. He holds off Jordan Huben still, like we spoke about. And Jared Leask, after going slightly off circuit there, is trying to get back on board to potentially get back that position that he lost. Whereas Barber in a bit of a no man's land, so is Tamsankwa Konki, a bit of distance between them. And then for Tevin Paul and Omar Khan also on the backside of the race. We are about to embark on the final lap of the race, and Carl Williams is 4 tenths behind Kitsumajia. This is going to be nail-biting close between the top two, because Carl Williams is finding strong points that Kitsumajia is not, and it's vice versa for the two, because Kitso is faster in some sectors, Carl is faster in the others. We're going to basically be on board with the two of them here, because it is the final race of tonight, as we watch and see if Carl Williams has got it in him to try and attack on Kitsumajia here. It's all going to come down to the strength in the certain corners. You have to make sure you nail everything perfect. Heading up towards McLeans from Starkey's Bridge, you want to make sure you get the nice rotation. The corner is slightly blind here, and it exits onto a gravel trap on the left-hand side, so you also don't want to run wide at all. From McLean's, you're going to head into another slightly blind right-hander. This is into Coppice, and you have to make sure you hit that inside apex neatly, or else you'll run wide as you head onto the Starkey straight up towards the Fogarty S's. A great little circuit of racing we've got here, hard into the braking zone around the 50-meter marker for GT3s, and it looks like also roughly for the BTCCs. Make sure you hit both curbs, but not run off wide and potentially score yourself a track penalty here. Down to the Melbourne hairpin and up towards the braking. Another hard breaker into the hairpin you will go, trying to get the rotation. Kitsel's made a critical error though, and almost gets overtaken there by the likes of Carl Williams. He's got to watch out. As he's got one corner left. Goddard's is going to be the last little stretch that Kitsumajia is going to have to defend from. And it looks like he is going to do it, because Carl Williams is just not going to have enough to match the run. And Kitsumajia is going to be your race number 3 winner. A hard-fought battle. Carl Williams will take second after just narrowly missing out there. Daniel Kent is going to take 3rd position. What a great run-up towards P3. Derek Truscott will take 4th. A good recovery all the way from the backside of the random order. And he'll be thrilled with that one. 5th, who's going to lose out now, actually is going to be Gio Sakia, who's going to take it away from Aratile and Session Governor. So a long bit of fighting all the way down to the line there. Aratile and Session Governor will take 7th. 8th is JP Cosley's ready in the pit lane. 9th for Michael de Kock. 10th for Chad Bowell. 11th for Huben. 12th for Jared Lees. 13th for Thamsankwa Konki. And then Riaz Barber in 14th, Nico Quintal in 15th, and then Ryan Grigoratos down 17th with Omar Khan and Tevin Paul being your final drivers to wrap it around for this heat. What a great race, great day of racing it's been at the TGN Racing Simulators at all 3 of our centers for the Pro Series and here at Donnington Park, with some incredible racing on the board, a little bit of action and a little bit of naughty moves here or there, but the stewards will be on that one to make corrections for round number 4. That's it though for tonight's racing. Remember all the valid points that I've mentioned over the streams if you want to get involved within the TGN network and all the great things that we do here at TGN Racing Simulators. It's been an absolute blast on the air with you. My name has been Tristan Herbst, joining you next week, in 2 weeks' time, apologies, for TGN Pro Series, round number 4, which is going to be another stellar routine of events. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Don't go anywhere too far. Before then, by that I mean don't disappear, because it's a long time, 2 weeks. We'll see you in just a couple of weeks' time. Have a great evening, everyone. Cheers.